What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and well, CD Projekt Red has responded, and as somebody who has heaped praise on the company for how they interact with their customers, I must first and foremost give them credit for that. However, there is some concerning things that have now kind of been solidified that we have what appears to be CD Projekt Red essentially hiding just how bad the game runs on current gen consoles, and people are rightfully angry given that without the delays, this game would have been for current gen consoles had it not been delayed numerous times until when the next gen consoles actually came out. Now, they are working on it, and there's a ton of information about that. And I think first and foremost, the quickest, easiest way is to say if you're on current gen, don't plan on playing the game until February. Now, ever since the game came out, CD Projekt Red stock has been plummeting, down nearly 12% since the release. It's making some gains back today after the apology and just how well received the apology was. But ultimately, to me, look, it's not Fallout 76, right? It's not Fallout 76 because gamers are playing the game and they can see that it's a good game, right? It's like having you know that the core and the bones of the game is really good. And if you're, not to give it an excuse, but because I play on PC and because I'm fortunate and I have a higher end PC, I hadn't experienced any real bugs and the game looked pretty dang good to me. That said, I've decided to delay my playthrough until a few more patches can come through. I've still got, maybe that Immortals Phoenix Rising looks pretty good. There's other games I can play for a month or two because I want my first playthrough to be clean. It says, we wanted to start by apologizing for not showing you the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered. In consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention, making it play better on the PS4 and Xbox One. Correct? But inside that apology sandwich is a very concerning statement. Look, I love CD Projekt Red, and I'm hoping that this is just some slimeball executive who will be fired for making this decision. But they're essentially admitting here that, they knew that it ran like garbage on current gen consoles, and they made a specific decision to not show you that. And, ultimately, a lot of the replies here, release Cyberpunk. We can, it's unfinished. Just release it. Effing fine. Here it is. Why is it so buggy? It's not finished. I mean, I think that now, more than ever, the Nintendo saying comes in, right? I think executives felt like they couldn't delay it again, and they just chose to cram it. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. Second, we will fix all bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates have just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. So 2 big patches coming in the next 7 days. My hope is that these 2 patches will get the game to 85 or 90%. Expect more, as we will update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch 1 in January, which I'm hoping is like January 1st. And this will be followed by patch 2 in February. Together, these should fix most prominent issues gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We will be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of the release. They won't make the game on last-gen look like it's running on higher spec PC, but it will be closer to the experience that it is now. Finally, we would like everyone who buys our games and be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate it if you give us a chance. But if you're not pleased with the game on your console, we don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. 4 copies purchased digitally. Please refund on PSN or Xbox respectively. For boxed versions, please first try to get a refund at the store where you bought the game. Good luck. Should that not be possible, contact us as Help Me Refund, and we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week until December 21st. P.S. PC gamers will also be getting regular updates and fixes improving the game. This isn't a great look. And you see people, I think most people are accepting this apology, but I can't help but feel a little concerned that they knew it was this bad and released it anyway. It's rough. Is it Keanu's fault? Is it, people are still mad. And it says here, and the CDPR fanboys defend this. I like CDPR, but even I am willing to call out the complete mess up on this. Too bad the reviewers barely highlighted the technical issues and instead talked about how, quote, problematic the game was. Well, again, make no mistake about it, the decision to only allow them to play on PC, we now know was on purpose. This is really slimy, guys. I mean, I'm torn, right? I don't feel the fiery hot rage that might give this video a title Angry Rant because of the goodwill that they've built up over the years, but this is slimy. Somebody inside that building knew the game ran like garbage on current gen consoles and shipped it anyway. Somebody in that building knew it ran like garbage on current gen consoles and decided to make reviewers play the PC version. Somebody made these decisions to actively hide the information from us, the consumer, and that's not forgivable. That's a big problem. And I know that maybe this video will get a bunch of dislikes from people who just the mileage varies and they're not having a ton of errors, but I ask you to just look at Twitter or the Metacritic reviews. Most people are having major issues with the game. Look, I haven't had any major issues, but I cover the game and I can see that people on the base PS4 and Xbox X are having an enormous amount of issues, and I can't just look at my personal experience and not take in all the other information we have. Now they're apologizing this via from Tassie at Forbes. CDPR said they're sorry for effectively hiding the state of Cyberpunk 2077 on last-gen consoles in a tweet this morning. The apology is not just for the game being in that state, but for not even showing the game on base consoles ahead of launch. Here's a relevant passage. It goes deeper than this. CDPR purposely hid the state of Cyberpunk was in on all consoles by not giving reviewers anything but PC review codes, and making them sign ironclad NDAs where they couldn't talk about any bugs they were experiencing until the embargo was up. Even then, they were not allowed to show their footage of their own gameplay until after those reviews went up. And that's not the end of it. CDPR apparently just flat out lied about the game's performance on last-gen consoles. Here's this from Game Radar just 2 weeks ago. Speaking earlier last week on Wednesday and transcribed by Seeking Alpha, Kaczynski said that Cyberpunk 2077's performance on base PS4 and Xbox One consoles is, quote, surprisingly good, I would say, for such a huge world. The CEO went on to say that although the performance on these base consoles is lower than their, quote, pro counterparts, the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, it's still surprisingly good. And Paul goes on to say, I don't think anyone would call performance on any of those consoles, PS4, Pro, Xbox One, or X, quote, surprisingly good. And yet this was the only impression the 160 million people who own last-gen consoles had of the game running on those consoles before the launch. This is just plain deceptive, and especially so when combined with the PC-only review copy situation. The rest of the message manages to detail both fixes are coming out with patches in January and December that will focus on consoles specifically, and CDPR will help you get refunds if you want. What consequences this truly has for CDPR in the long run is unclear. The game's 8 million pre-orders based on incomplete information were enough to make up the entire development cost of the game. And while the game and studio are a meme right now, in some circles because of the lies and goofy bugs infecting the game, CDPR still has a long list of staunch defenders, many of which can be found in the comment section of that tweet, reassuring them that everything's okay. This is a conflict I face internally. I fundamentally am very much enjoying Cyberpunk 2077 despite its issues, and CDPR's behavior here is absolutely indefensible and inexcusable. And the wording of this apology is irritating, and transparency amounts to admitting to a cover-up after the fact, and hundreds of millions of sales were already made. It's true. You know, it's really, this is like, I feel like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? Even you have people here on OpenCritic we're adding a warning to Cyberpunk 2077 page regarding the Xbox One and PS4 version, saying the game has significant disparities in performance, player experience, and review scores between PC and next-gen consoles, Xbox One and PS4 versions. The OpenCritic team and several critics suspect that the developer CD Projekt Red intentionally sought to hide the true state of the game on Xbox One and PS4 with requirements such as only allowing pre-rendered game footage and reviews and not allowing review copies for PS4 and Xbox One. And of course, now you see Sony makes rare exception with Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. Much anticipated release, from unplayable frame rates, 720p resolution, bizarre graphical errors. It seems that either the old consoles are simply not up to spec to run the game, or it's just poorly optimized. As a result, Sony is making an exception to allow refunds processed to the game even after the usual grace period, according to players on Reddit who have made requests. PSA, Sony's issue refunds even pass it to our gameplay for digital games if you file a refund and talk to a rep. I don't think there's anything wrong, by the way, with asking for a refund. Look, you have to hold companies accountable even when you love them. And you can buy the game again once they fix it. You know, that's the thing. And I think that ultimately I feel really torn here because I am super pissed that they they lied to us about this game. If I had bought it on a PS4, I would be outraged. This is slimy corporate behavior from CD Projekt Red, and I know people will want to give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm one of them. But this is flat out unacceptable. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.